Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another Monday morning art talk. Whippy! Alright, so today I wanted to talk about my own personal weakness as an artist, something that I've always struggled with personally, and we all have our different struggles. It's funny when we look at people's artwork and we see the end result and you don't realize just sometimes the torment, the challenge, the frustration, everything that goes along with it, the painstaking process that can be sometimes, the amount of time an image takes someone, where it always becomes sometimes, hey, how long that take you? And thinking, oh, if I could do that in 30 minutes, then that means I'm good. Or, oh man, that took you 10 hours. Oh, okay, I can see why it's so good. Or whatever it may be. It's like, I think everyone goes through a little bit of something, I'm sure. But my greatest weakness that I just kind of wanted to just discuss with you guys and sort of mention is my inability to recall information. And this is honestly one of the reasons why I think teaching became so important to me. When I start to think about it and I think about why teaching became such a grand purpose for me. Because I realized my inability to retain information, I had to keep doing things over and over and over and over and over again. And that's the way it's always been. And it's really, honestly, it kind of sucks. It sucks because I just can't recall things. And it's not like it's just happening now because I'm an old man. It's happening. It's always sort of been that way. I mean, in school, as a child, I was always bottom of the class, did horrible in school, retaining information. When it came to tests, I could read something, but I don't remember what I just read. And so there's only certain things that I do remember and recall, and oftentimes that comes from impressions that are made at those times. I guess those are the ones that maybe really stick. But even that, sometimes it's easier for me to just recall, say, an image or something that I've seen, an observation that I see someone. But what's really hard for me is to recall knowledge that I've been taught. So I could learn something online. Someone's, sent me information on, I was working with a friend, this was maybe a couple years ago, he sends me information, he was doing some cleanup and all that, and he was showing me how he did it, and using vector, and I thought, oh man, that's great. That's going to speed up the process for me. That's going to be helpful. And I wasn't doing it enough, first of all, which is part of the problem if you're not doing something enough. But then let me just say that that's not always the problem, because even though you do it enough, you still forget. Or I do anyway. And so then I start that, but then I just totally forget. And then all of a sudden it starts just disappearing and vanishing from my brain, so I can't remember. So this is the way it's always been, even with the human figure. With like drawing people and drawing anatomy and all that. It's like, I've studied the basics. I've drawn the human figure thousands of times. I've gone to thousands of life drawing classes. I used to study a lot when I was studying, and the teacher would say things and I would just hear it at that moment and jot it down. But to remember the muscles and to remember the names of anything, forget it. I cannot remember names. It's just not happening. And it's just one of these things where it's been a struggle, because when I go to attack a drawing, sometimes it's like, I've gone through this 1,000 times. I know this. Why is it not coming out on paper? Why am I not recalling that? So oftentimes all I'm ever relying on, it's just my own personal intuition, my own way that my arm is just going to be moving, and as I'm just sort of thinking, and maybe lack of thinking as I'm drawing a lot of times, and I'm just trying to find feeling within my drawing, so I'm looking for that. But there's, you know, the basics. There's a lot of design things that I understand, of course, and a lot of it is because of repetition, and I go over it so much, and I've written about it, and I talk about it all the time, and every day when I'm attacking a drawing, I'm implementing design things. But I think it comes down more to just a real structure and anatomy, like breaking down a foot, breaking down whatever it may be. Like, I've done it, and I've drawn it, and I've learned it, and I studied it, and I got the books, and I got the Bridgman books, and I got the Loomis books, and I'm studying these things, and I've gone through it, and yet still it's just not there. And it's my weakness. It's just like, it's my thing that I just kind of go, man, that's a struggle. It's a struggle because, I mean, one thing that it does is make me always inquisitive, and I always feel like I'm relearning, but it's kind of ridiculous that I'm relearning it again for the 100th time. And that's, I think I hate that. But I'm grateful because I truly feel like this weakness that I have gave me my purpose for being a teacher. Because through repetition and going over things and breaking things down and explaining it, not only to make sense for me, but to make sense for other people, that I could do that. And it's just like, wow, that's a real purpose. That's why it works. You know, that's why it works. And I think that's when you become effective at something, maybe all because of that. So it's definitely one of those things. And anything computer-wise, when it comes to, you know, my web guy, he showed me, hey, this is how you use Squarespace. Boom, 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 and I'll do it. And he's gone through everything, and I do it a few times over and over again. You think I could remember a week later, 5 weeks later? It's just like, oh man, what do you do? And thank God for the internet. Thank God for being able to look up videos on just trying to figure stuff out, like really quick. Like, how do I get a shortcut to do something like this on Photoshop when I've done it before, but now I can't remember? Simple little things like that. So that's my artist curse. It's definitely, it doesn't hold me back from creation. It just makes the process a little bit more, not all the time, but it adds a little bit extra frustration to it because I feel like I've done this before, I know this. And I just kind of wanted to share that because I think maybe some of you guys go through the same thing, and maybe some of you guys have your own things. And I know people have issues with they can only draw for so long before their hand starts to really hurt. And I highly recommend you go see a chiropractor because I had the same thing and fixed it. It's almost like you get this tennis elbow, they call it. And but you know, you go check those things out if you can do something about it in that sense. And then some people have different, you know, everything. I don't know. There's so many different things that you know what you have, you know what you're going through, you know what you're experiencing. But I wanted to share that with you, what that sort of, that idea that, you know, again, whatever you perceive, whatever we see of other people doing and it maybe look easy, I know for me it's not, and it's a struggle, and I'll do things over and over and over again. And when I'm working with clients, they're not going to see that work process. They're not going to see all my mistakes because I'm not comfortable showing it. I'm just going to show you what I'm comfortable with showing you at that end process. And that's what you're going to get. But there's a lot of stuff that goes underneath. And I think that's something where people don't take that for granted with artists. They don't feel like when you're doing development, when you're working on something, the amount of work and sketching you have to do before they even see what they get, and then for them just to blow it off and just kind of make you feel just unworthy, or you know, whatever it may be that sometimes people do, you know, to you, and they make you not feel so confident with your work, and that can happen many times. And these are one of the things where you definitely got to pick up you got to build a thick skin in this industry and working with clients, because that's what you can happen all the time. It's just unfortunate that they can't always appreciate that, and I don't expect them to all the time, especially if they're not an artist. I mean, I know maybe if they were making a cake and they like cooking and I told them to rebake their cake 20 times, they'd start to get angry. You know, like, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? Hey, man, that's what you do to me. You make me revise things over and over again. That's what you got to revise your cake, all right? But anyway, so I wanted to share that with you. Thanks for watching, and I shall talk to you guys next week. Take care.